pop up to this. Yogi Bhajan, when he gave me the charge to work on finishing this whole project of the schools of development and KRI, basically, he had a vision of a few things. First, the vision of the product. The product was a teacher. And he reserved the word teacher for level 3, actually, much to the dismay of level 1 instructors who say, well, I'm a teacher, what do you do about that? But he had a vision like a high mountain. And if you look at the way he defined this experience that he was trying to share, he was saying, I'm on the mountain, guys. If you want to play with me, you've got to walk up the slope. And the further you get up, the slipperier it is, and the more you want to pause and just stare out at the thing. But anytime you climb some great peak and get the sense of accomplishment that brings you, and the character, because you have to face a lot of fears going up that mountain. Sudden changes in weather, good and bad teammates, Sherpas who run away, You have to keep going. I remember this when I was training people in Wyoming for the great Grand Tetons, and climbing that. It doesn't look so big from a distance. Wow, that's pretty. I'd like to climb up that. And you start climbing, it's like it grows larger as you climb it, and you misestimate everything, and the weather never cooperates. And actually, you're completely successful if you just try. Some may make it all the way to the top, but there is a certain success in the very character of full engagement. So I think you envisioned it like this. Foundations at level 1 means you're at the bottom of the mountain. You've gathered, you've got your gear. You got all the tools, you're ready for the journey. And now you can initiate the climb. That's actually what you do, and all that work that goes on in foundations is you're prepared. And then you start climbing. Now when you start climbing, you have to apply all that stuff. And you really learn about yourself rather quickly as you start climbing up those hills and getting perspectives. And if you make it all the way through the transformation that goes on in those efforts and those perspectives, you finally reach a base camp. When you have a high mountain, you got to get up to a base. Base camp's not at the bottom. That's your launching pad. That's you leave the trailers and stuff. And then if you make the base camp, and some don't, then you take a breather, you reassess, you've learned a lot about yourself. Your oxygen needs, your collaboration, non-collaboration, your ego a little bit, I knew I could just run all the way. Well, maybe with a pause. Ability to accept help, get perspective, have guides tell you, don't step off the cliff, that kind of stuff. Hopefully you gain a little humor too. So base camp is really transformation. That's what we call level 2. And so as we get into level 2, you can't have the same attitude as level 1. Level 1 is acquisition, right? Level 2 is application to you, because you've got to have some idea about all this, and you have to have a little bit of authentic honesty about yourself. That's what it is. So you certainly learn a lot. This course, you can learn a lot. But it's a lot of stuff on vitality and stress and all that. But as a place in the vision of Yogi Bhajan, we're trying to fulfill and establish our base camp. And then the level 3, which we call realization, that's going for the full peak. That means now you have to be very humble at that level, because a little slip left or right and long ways down. And we don't expect everybody necessarily to go there. And he would distinguish two things. He would say all along the way, no matter where you are, even if you're really just staring and appreciating the beauty of the hill, because a lot of people do that, they don't become teachers, you do have a certain inspiration that reminds you of the value of savoring what it is to be a human being. And we seek the fulfillment and the flourishing of what it is to be unique in ourselves as a human. I call it humaniqueness, humaniqueness. Because it's both the individual uniqueness and the core experience of what it is to be human, humaniqueness. And that's what Kundalini and awareness ultimately gives you. So that, in a way, we all gain to the degree that we want to engage that, either by being around people doing this, or doing the sadhanas, or becoming teachers. And in addition to that, in addition to that. He said, well, if you really want to be a teacher, you have to understand teacher is not a person, it's an institution. So there is a kind of purpose or goal that you can, acquire this teacherness. It doesn't necessarily perfect you in your humanness, but it gives you a lot of chances. And you can be developing in your humaniqueness, and you may not choose the task of a teacher, because in a teacher we have to have this neutral mind, refined, honed, stabilized, and deepened, to help the person cover the gap between their personality and their self. It has nothing to do with perfection. If you seek perfection, then you deny the true. And if you get attached to perfection, you insulate yourself from the good. So there is always, in the process of this whole teaching thing, a cultivation of a little humility with each other, and an acceptance that you're part of a very big process and you're never going to figure it out, so relax. As soon as you think you got it, you're slipping down the hill. So rather, I would recommend to you, having got a lot of gray beard doing all this stuff, is I would hold to the sensitivity of the self, cultivate a humility, and practice the art of full engagement of the life and breath of this minute. Because you don't have anything else, actually. And when your ego really kicks in, that's when you disengage and start separating people into categories of who you're going to engage and who you're not going to engage. Because now you're wanting to be seen a certain way, and then you stop seeing anything. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a challenge. And I don't think it's particularly good or bad if someone takes on that challenge. It's just the nature of it. If you take on that climb, no matter how far you go, you're going to be better. You're going to be richer. You're going to be more humanique. All right, so just to give you a perspective, because I think it's important as teachers and people involved in this, that we convey to our students and to people, what is the vision? Why did, because somebody, well, I got instructor, I can go teach. It's true. Of course you can. We set it up that way. But you're at the bottom of the mountain, folks. And that's a good place to be. It's a big mountain. A lot of stuff comes. But what he was after was this tremendous vision, both of humaniqueness as an individual with tremendous self-respect. Number one. Number two, some people who will serve and aspire and challenge themselves in the golden chain to be a teacher, to help all those people, whether they're climbing or not. You have a shop at the bottom of a hill or something. So are we clear? Is that helpful a little bit? It's a simple idea. Because sometimes we leap into the learning, we forget the goal or the frame or the possibility, at least, of what you may choose to do. So engage it as you go.